What it do, what it do, how y'all feeling? Welcome to Ash Neil's Radio. I am your host, Ash Neil. That is I. So, we talking to y'all. Yes. Now, I know y'all seen this statue in New York City. You heard the story. Beautiful, beautiful statue. I personally like it. Now, the guy who's the artist who created the statue, some British guy, some black British guy, he said that it's basically representing, the average person that don't get represented. Simple as that. And you got all these motherfuckers that are mad, calling it this fat black woman. And my biggest problem with most of the critiques, because we're gonna have those, those racist white folks. We get that. But it's the brothers and the sisters that criticize it and talk shit about it being overweight and by itself. Yes, I've seen a couple black folks say, "Oh man, this don't represent me. What the hell is this high cholesterol having?" And I just really like when I see it. All I think is that is what 90% of the black moms out here. Honestly, so when I think about successful black folks, even myself, I love you, mama, but she represents what my mom looked like. And a lot of successful black folks out here probably had a mom or was raised by someone that looked just like her. So let's go ahead and check this statue out and see how people around New York felt about it.
He could have made a sculpture of a black person who looks like Zeus or something. Instead, he gave us a statue of Queen Latifah on her day off. Now, it used to be that if you were in the mood to see some exotic contemporary sculptures that were created by an unimpressive foreign artist, you had to go to a museum. And that was pretty much your only option. It was like going to a movie theater before Netflix or buying a book at Barnes & Noble before Amazon. We had dedicated buildings for everything, including contemporary art. And if you didn't drive to a museum with an express intent of quietly observing a groundbreaking new sculpture, in all likelihood, you probably wouldn't see one at all. But then, as we all know, museums fell out of favor, at least for this particular purpose. We found a lot of theories as to why that happened. But in this case, the simplest explanation is probably the best. People stopped going to museums to see contemporary art because contemporary art is really, really bad. And normally when people stop consuming content because it's bad, that forces some kind of change in the content. The creators might go back to the drawing board and come up with something else as a way to entice audiences. That's normally how these things go. But in the field of contemporary art, which of course is my true passion in life, that's not what happened. Instead, artists, and particularly sculptors, have come up with new ways to force people to look at their most unimpressive and pretentious creations. Maybe no sculptor on the planet is more adept.
Now, there's going to be a lot of white outrage and victimhood. So, he said basically sculptures back in the day used to represent something in the past, They like to leave out that it was a racist past. But that's basically the history of sculptures, right? Sculptures have meanings behind it. Right? That's how he feels. So let's hear how Matt feels about this 12-foot statue.
Depth to this particular skill than a man that you never heard of named Thomas Price.
Never heard of him.
Without any sense of shame, Thomas Price has compelled innocent bystanders to observe his garbage sculptures by placing these sculptures in their way in public places.
Yeah.
In fact, in some cases, he's placing these sculptures in the middle of walkways.
Oh,
and on top of that, every single one of these sculptures depicts the same thing.
Victims.
Which is a nameless, random black woman who looks very annoyed and unpleasant. Yes, all over the world, sculptures of random black women are being thrust upon the public, and it's all because of a British guy named Thomas Price, who's apparently very angry that people don't go to museums anymore.
Thrust.
This is actually something of an epidemic. So we'll go through some of these black woman statues here. This is a picture of one of them. It's from New Orleans City Park, and as you can see, the woman is positioned directly on top of the walking path. And according to the official description of the sculpture, quote, Price's sculpture, titled Time Unfolding 2023, is a 9-foot tall statue of a woman looking down at her cell phone, seemingly paused in contemplation. The work is part of a series depicting...
What's wrong with this sculpture? Now, remember, the new one they're talking about, one of the main critiques was she was overweight, representing her diabetes and shit, right? This is in New Orleans. She don't look overweight, but it symbolizes that everybody is focused on their phone. And time is passing them by. I like this one. What's wrong with this one? You got a problem with this one? Come on, Matt.
Everyday fictional subjects at a monumental scale, combining traditional sculpting and digital technology to question how society projects ideas and expectations through public space, close quote. Now, to me, this looks like a customer service representative for Frontier Airlines refusing to take my complaint seriously, but I guess she's supposed to.
See? Angry black woman. Everybody is, that's their critique. A lot of people I've seen, they had the same thing to say, TSA agent. It's just weird. Angry black woman. That's a trope. And what people don't understand what stereotypical tropes are to black folks, I don't care if you don't. But that's one of them. And the only thing that I see that's angry is a bunch of white folks.
Supposed to look contemplative. And it wasn't just New Orleans that was treated to this extraordinary combination of sculpting and technology, whatever that means. The good people of Florence were also treated to a blinged out gold version of the sculpture. Here's what that looks like. Reportedly, this particular statue was vandalized a few times. The authorities condemned the vandalism.
Wait, y'all vandalized this golden statue. Now, mind you, hey, Matt said, this is what Matt said. Matt said, historically, statues were made or erected to symbolize figures that meant something in our founding of our countries, or whatever racist past they had. Now, I don't know if that's a statue term, erected, but they all used it, erected. But nigga, as Matt is criticizing this statue of this black woman, you have this naked dude standing over another dude, and this little pee-pee is basically sitting on his head. Even more. On the other side, there's a green dude with his little pee-pee out. So Matt, this is the historical statues that you're talking about that had meaning. What does this mean? This little dick ass white dude underneath it with the dude underneath them. Please tell me, what does this mean? Get the fuck out of here.
Which they described as racist.
Fuck.
But
wait,
at the same time, the authorities didn't explain why, in their understanding, Thomas Price is not also a racist. And after all, he's the guy who's constantly making sculptures about random, unimpressive-looking black women looking at their phones, and then he forces everyone to look at these sculptures.
Unimpressive.
Seems kind of like something that an obsessive-compulsive Klansman would do as a practical joke, if we're being honest. Here's another one of his sculptures in London, for example. And this is from 3 Mills Park. Again, it's 9 feet tall. Okay. According to Price, quote, "I want this sculpture to be an opportunity for people to connect emotionally with an image of someone they might not have noticed before."
Right. What's wrong with the statue?
And then by way of explaining his obsession with black women looking at their phones, Price said, quote, "White artists are putting themselves forward to create replacement sculptures of slave owners with no sense of irony.
Exactly.
It's a savior complex, and that exemplifies what is wrong when even the solution doesn't involve the black experience," close quote.
Exactly.
So what exactly is the black experience besides looking at your cell phone? I mean, based on Thomas Price's body of work, that's a good question. His answer, from what I can tell, is that the black experience also involves being overweight and looking extremely annoyed all the time. And that's all of his statues of the black experience. That's what they all are. And that would explain this statue, which he just put up in Rotterdam Central Station in the Netherlands. As you can see, this one's a real winner. Apparently, it's supposed to be the same black woman from London, except she's added a few pounds to her waistline. That's what happens when you're a statue. You know, you're standing around a lot, not burning a lot of calories. So maybe you gain some weight. And her cell phone ran out of battery, so she doesn't have a cell phone. So we have kind of a narrative unfolding here. And if you follow these statutes.
First, it was all about the phones, but now she don't have a phone and the battery might be dead. Like, this is the motherfucker that has a whole documentary talking about, am I racist? You know you are, bro. You know you are. That's why people call you out for it. But the outrage of some of these people is amazing. They are so fucking annoyed by black representation. That's all it is. This is just black representation, and then it's bothering y'all. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know why y'all so mad. Y'all should be out here thanking artists for keeping the museum alive. I know y'all white folks like your art. Y'all like to buy trash bags that are framed with like a piece of garbage still in it and call it art. And you spend like $3 million on this trash bag, my nigga. That's what y'all white folks do. So yes, this guy is trying to keep, art alive. So I don't see the problem. But Matt isn't the only one who has faux outrage. A lot of these people are so pissed off, and I'm just trying to figure out the racism behind it. It could be an ugly statue, right? You can dislike the statue, right? But why y'all gotta be so racist?
Square, New York.
This is cringe.
Not cringe of the day, surprisingly. It is a series called Grounded in the Stars. The latest installation is a 12-foot tall bronze statue of a plus-size black woman with dreadlocks. That's what it is. It's just standing defiantly in the middle of passers-by with all the billboards in the background, and the artist behind it is named Thomas J. Price, and here in this video we can hear a little blurb from him about what it all means, because, obviously postmodern art, it's very deep and meaningful.
And communicate those inner worlds that we have, and sometimes we misinterpret with one another, to try and create an understanding and basically encourage empathy.
I have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lead.
Look at him mad. Why you mad? Hey, get some joy in your life.
And
see,
so he was talking about how he...
that's the problem. Y'all don't have enough joy in your life. That shouldn't have pissed him off. He's sitting there, what the hell is this dancing and singing and shit? Come on, man. This is soul. That's why they define everything black with soul. From soul food, Soul Train, just anything soulful. You interpret that as black. So you soulless motherfuckers, y'all would see a bunch of black folks clapping and singing and having a good time, and you would sit there and be like, what the hell is this shit? Y'all mad ass, fake ass victims, man.
He wants this sculpture to inspire empathy in people that view it.
Sorry, it didn't work.
I looked into
it. It actually, hold on.
Blurb
I don't want to keep muting, but it actually had a couple meetings. One meeting was to empower the black folks that they know that this represent, people that look like them, and for us to be thankful for somebody that actually is up there looking like one of ours, but has the attitude that you guys hate. That the beauty of the attitude look that this woman have, right? That is that strong black woman. That's who that is. That's who we talk. That's mom. That's auntie. That's auntie right there. And you guys are mad. And that's the second part of it, is that it was I think it's a social experiment to see how y'all react. And y'all proving our point. Y'all reacting. Y'all want to see racist white dudes with their dicks out and say, this is a statue that I like. But you see a 12-foot black woman that's only going to be there temporary, and y'all pulling your fucking hair out. Oh, yes, it worked.
Times Square official website about this bronze statue, and it was just an assault of word salad that I cannot wait to share with you all.
I mean, that's usually what it is when it's artists describing their art.
Or really anyone, even the critics describing the art,
Yes,
are just coming up with random word salad to try to make it sound deep when it's not. And this is not real art. This
What's
is
wrong with
trash.
it?
So they say Thomas J. Price, whose multidisciplinary practice confronts preconceived notions of identity and representation, with Grounded in the Stars, he reimagines both the monument and monumentality in Times Square.
What does
one of the
monumentality
world's
mean?
most iconic.
You can't even read. They talk about us and our IQ and shit. Why are y'all so fucking mad?
And basically encourage empathy.
It's so beautiful. Yeah, it's real. New York, actually, they put up the plus-size statue in Times Square. It's going to remain there, unfortunately, until June 17th. So if you're going there, take pictures. But I asked everybody on X today to give us your best takes on this. And guess what? They did not disappoint. Let's start with, as they stated, this is a massive 12-foot tall statue, and it's supposed to confront preconceived notions of identity and representation. So,
Exactly.
our Steve Baker, we are going to start with him. He says, or more correctly stated, a monument to the food pyramid, diabetes, and the number one COVID-19 comorbidity.
Why? I'll tell you why. Because you're racist. A monument to the food pyramid. Like, this is how they think. Diabetes and shit. COVID-19. Like, comorbidity. Is when you, what is it? You got multiple diseases or some shit like that. Right? They just look at us as a dying breed. Right? Heart disease, multiple diseases, diabetes, high cholesterol. Subjects to COVID-19. We were, what they say back in the day when COVID happened, it was killing black folks the most. But when it comes to IVF and fertility issues, they are the ones that are not reproducing. So you guys can keep on trying to talk shit about God's people, but these lab babies, your insults do not do anything. It just shows us that it worked and your racism is coming out.
It's been a minute since we've heard comorbidity out there, Steve. So thank you so much for bringing that back into our dialect here for the day.
Yeah, I mean, comorbidity. Exactly. There is a word I haven't heard in a long time. And Steve's line is, I think, what a lot of people think when they see this, which is the initial kind of reaction, like, why are you doing this? What does this represent? Does it represent obesity? Because that's a national problem.
Kyle H., let's go ahead and get to him. He says, I think Dante said it best, abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Although the final scene of Planet of the Apes also comes to mind. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the final reply for the day, because it is just the big, beautiful statue in the Planet of the Apes.
Damn you.
People out there have...
This is the final reply. We just started the show, I think. You got 3 of them. These are the bombshell replies to this statue. How is it not racist when they talking about Planet of the Apes? Like, there's something going on. Now, remember, when I say IVF, a lot of these people have been using fertility treatments for a long time. a lot of these test tube babies, their parents, their mom's eggs weren't working, and their daddy's swimmers. It's some weird ass shit. It's always a stereotype about black folks and swimming, but white men always got to check on their swimmers. But they used to use Vietnamese women as surrogates, right? Just so they can have a family, because for some reason, white folks for a very long time, they had problems with fertility. And I believe that a lot of these lab rats are adults now, right? And they have babies of their own, right? Some conceived naturally, some had IVF as well. And it's almost like they have a detachment to actual humans. And they're this disgusting. They could be real humane. Like the way they just pillage people, kill people, and don't even care. They just, there's collateral damage. Like, God's people, they feel some type of way when they see someone hurt. But these people, they don't care. It amused them. Like back in the days, they used to have lynching parties where they all used to gather around and watch this black man die. And they used to be okay with it. Something's wrong with these people. There's a mental imbalance, and I think it comes from not being born naturally or just not getting enough sun due to vitamin D issues.
Have one thing on their minds, and this is it. You actually found that last one.
Yeah, I mean, it cracked me up. It seemed like a more fitting statue in a way than the one in the movie. But you look at this, and it's happening all over. Like, you see this happening all over. And the demographics are the same. I mean, they especially want plus-size black females in statuesque form, and they're putting it out there on purpose. And you have to sort of question, why is this? Why is this going on? It's very strange.
Libs have erected a giant black lady in Times Square. There's this statue. I think it's a 12-foot tall.
There's that word, erected. They brought it out. It's here. I think that's the term they use when they present statues. I don't know. I'm not one of those people, but I've heard this term multiple times. Erected. If this is a statue term, who coined the term? Because those little peckers that them statues had back in the day from way back when, erected isn't the word.
Old statue. But when I say it's a statue of a giant black lady, it's not even any black lady in particular. It's just a black lady.
Yes.
It's not Monique. It's not Oprah. It's just a random generic black lady.
Okay. What's wrong with that?
The black lady statue stands in contrast to two other statues. According to the Times Square Arts Group, installed at ground level on a wide, low base, the work invites engagement with the hundreds of thousands of people who traverse the plazas each day.
Look at how mad they are.
The woman in Grounded in the Stars cuts a stark contrast to the pedestaled permanent monuments, both white, both men, which bookend Duffy Square while embodying a quiet gravity and grandeur. Grandeur to the random black lady statue, kind of standing with bad posture. I don't know about that. But who are those two current statues of? Who is it just two random white men in the way that this is a random black lady? No. They're two specific white men. One is Father Francis Duffy in Duffy Square. He was a World War II military chaplain. He's the most highly decorated cleric in U.S. history.
We don't care.
Really heroic guy who would charge into gunfire to help soldiers. And the other one is George M. Cohan, the guy who more or less invented Broadway. He's the guy who wrote "It's a Grand Old Flag." It's a grand old flag. It's a high flying flag, and all these other.
We don't care.
songs, really, really important to popular entertainment, musical theater, and the rest of it. In Times Square on Broadway, makes sense.
The shit that excites white people is amazing. They go and watch Hamilton and sit there for hours, and then they clap like this, and then be like, "Yay, that was excitement."
Be there. Why is this random black lady statue there? They tell us it's to be a contrast to Father Duffy and George M. Cohan. It's to be a contrast to American symbols of heroism, American symbols of virtue, American symbols of entertainment and popular culture. It's supposed to be an antithesis to America.
Yes.
That's not me saying that. That's them saying that.
Yes.
They are saying the point of erecting the random black lady statue is to be an antithesis to whatever America is. That's the intention.
Okay.
So we got to tear this stuff down.
Why?
We have to stop it, not because it's a black lady. There are plenty of nice black ladies. Because the statue is, in fact, a rebuke of America as such. And we don't need that. We don't need that in our public square.
And that's what I'm saying. They are mad, you guys. They are mad at the fact that black folks, we haven't been put on a pedestal. We haven't been represented. There's this big ass mountain full of racist white men, and we call it Mount Rushmore, And there was a project to put a Native American on there, and somebody had I think it's Blackfoot, and it was a lot of hate behind putting Blackfoot on Mount Rushmore. Think about that. They don't care about no history. They don't give a fuck. You just want this place to look like it's been white all the time. So yes, when we see a black woman, we love it. 12 feet tall. And they say it's in contrast to all these racist white ass fucking statues out there. And she has that stance that you guys can sit back and be like, she looks angry. No, she just ain't playing no games with you motherfuckers. Nigga. I think that's what he said. He said something about it's here. Or, yes, I'm here. And so what? And that's what the statue is saying. I'm here. Now what? The fuck you gonna do? Be mad.